Welcome to the Fail Forward podcast. The purpose of this podcast is change the negative stigma around failure into a positive. Failure is only a negative if we do not learn from it and we give up. Welcome back to the Fail Forward podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking about people, teams, and business. As you've heard me talk about in previous episodes, to run a successful business and also to be able to get more time back, you need to build a team. You need to build a team to be able to run a business, for people to be able to work in your business, work for you, with you, and grow the business and also leverage your own time. In my businesses, one of the things that's most important to me is that when we're building a team, that we look after the team. Now, I come from a tree surgery background, and it's not always been the way in the tree surgery world. I'm actually seeing more tree surgery businesses look after their team, but going back 15, 20 years when I first got into it, the attitude in the tree surgery world, as from a member of staff point of view, is that you get your paycheck at the end of the week. That's your thanks. And if you're not late, you do something wrong, you're probably going to get shouted at. You're probably going to get sworn at, or even sometimes physical abuse. Like, I've seen it. And that's the way team staff were treated. And I remember sitting there thinking, this isn't fun. Like, I'm coming to work, I'm working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, dedicating my time and energy to a company, to their future, and I'm getting treated like shit. Like, that's not fun. So I made a pledge to myself when I started my businesses that I would do whatever I can to look after my team and make sure that they are as happy as they can be in the workplace, because everyone has challenges, not just in the workplace, but in life. Throws us many, many curveballs. And one of the things that I worked out is that we spend more time at work than we do with our family, with our friends, doing hobbies. The only thing we'd probably do more of potentially is sleep. The rest of the time, you're generally working. So if you come to work, you want to feel like you're part of something bigger than you. You want to feel like you're part of a team. You want to feel like you're looked after, your well-being it is looked after. So to me, the most important thing about running businesses is the people. Like, without the people, you can't have the business. Without the people, other stuff doesn't happen. You know, we talk about culture and all that kind of stuff in the past, and cultures are kind of a buzzword around it. But for me, what culture really means, it's how you look after your team. It's how you treat people in your business. You know, I go from the same mantra a lot of people do. You treat people how you'd expect to be treated yourself. And I believe that still comes in the workplace. Just because somebody's getting paid to be there doesn't mean that you then have complete control, dictatorship over them. It means, yes, you will have some standards you want to work to. You want them to come in clean, presentable, tidy, reliable. You know, there are things that you need to happen, but it doesn't mean that you have to be a tyrant and shout and scream at people and be aggressive and abuse people and things like that. So it's really important for me to build a network of businesses where we look after our teams. Now, one of the things that we do in the businesses now is we do a staff survey. And it's an anonymous staff survey. And the reason why I do this is because however big you are, small you are, loud, scary, kind, caring, whichever way you think you are, your members of staff, you are always the boss. You are the person who decides their future at that business, their pay rises, everything like that. So when you do an appraisal, maybe if I did an appraisal now with one of my members of the team, I might not get exactly what I need to hear, not want to hear, need to hear as a boss to understand what's going on in my business, or how people feel, or the things that are frustrating people, and also the good things, because generally as a boss, people tell you what you want to hear. And even I've had these conversations with my teams and said, you know, look, I'm an open and honest person. Just be open and honest with me. People are still fearful. They think that maybe that I might be leading them into a trap or something like that. People are fearful if they tell their boss how they really feel, that could then have a direct impact on their career, their future, their pay rise, where they sit in the business. So what I found really useful is doing this staff survey, and we do it every quarter. We do a staff survey and it's completely anonymous. So I have no idea when this survey's done who's said what, who's ticked what box, and what happens. And you know what? That gives us so much valuable information. So what we do to keep it really clear is we ask 5 questions. And those 5 questions all have a score from 1 to 5. So it will be things like do you feel like you have all of the right tools to do your job? 5 being yes, 1 being no, and then 2, 3, 4 are somewhere in the middle. So the reason why we do that exact scoring system is, and the same 5 questions every time, is because we can actually get a percentage. And you've heard me talk about numbers before. We've got a company metric sheet, and I can go right now onto that metric sheet and I'll be able to see all of the previous staff survey scores that have happened. I've been from afar and been on holiday. It means that I can see the percentages, and also I don't spend all my time in each business. So it means that straight away, with having a percentage there, I can see whether the staff surveys improved or got worse. Like, it really helped me recently. We had to move a manager on from the business, and since he came in a year and a half ago, the staff survey had dropped dramatically. It had gone from 80% down to, I think it was about 46%, which instantly, I don't go straight into blame. I look at what we're doing as a management team, what we're doing as a business, but it helps me start to turn over those stones and start seeing what's underneath and start picking holes in what's going on in the business and start having a look at it. So the percentage score is a really good way, and that's why 5 questions, the same questions, 1 to 5, and then we can have a percentage score. But then what we do at the end of that is we then say, if you disagree with any of these questions or disagree with anything or want to add anything further, please write us some notes here. And this is the bit that, as a business owner, is the most valuable, but I can tell you now it is the most challenging by far, because what you get when people know that you don't know who it is the honest truth. And every time we get the same things, like everyone wants to work less and earn more. That's a no-brainer. We get past that. Everyone always says we need a pay rise, plus we want to work less. Well, I mean, I think if you asked everyone in this country, they'd probably say something similar, that they want to earn more and work less, right? So we get past that. And then you've got to sit down and read. And at first, when I first started doing this, just for complete transparency 2 years ago, I might not have been in the right mindset to take it on. And I remember having the first survey we did and sitting there, and you go through a whole world of emotions, because when you treat your business like it's your baby, and then you ask people to honestly tell you what they think, then you're going to have to actually sit there and listen and read what they say. Sometimes it can feel really, really personal attacks on you. But what I've learned over the last 2 years is that you're asking the question. So you need to receive it in a good way. Like when we talk about fail forward, put your ego to one side and start looking at what people are saying. And some of it's valid, some of it's not valid. Some of it's people ranting off. We've tried to do this survey at different times of the day. We've done it on a Monday morning. We've done it on payday. We've done it on a Wednesday. We've done it on a Thursday. We do it at different times. And it doesn't matter when you do it, you still generally get the same honest opinions back. But it's so valuable to look at it and understand what your team is saying, because if you see a common ground, like we saw simple things like about 4 or 5 people mentioned that our strimmers were just so unusable. And the thing for me is buying a strimmer as a business owner is the least exciting thing to do. Plus, they don't get used that often, so they get dumped in the corner of the strong room. They don't get used, and the worst thing is strimming's not a fun job to do anyway. So when you've got a job that's not fun, but yet the strimmers that you're using are falling apart, then it's even less fun, more stressful, and really annoying. But what that staff survey instantly did, because no one was telling us the strimmers were broke, everyone was just telling they hate strimming. But when you then start working out that actually it's part of it is the kit that you've got's fault, we replace the strimmers. We've not had that same thing again. We look at it and we've got different things about kit, about things that are going on in the yard, morale, and it really helps you paint a picture of what's going on in the business. You can't solve all the problems, but what we can do is through meeting with the teams after this is we can try and address as much of it as possible. Like, our companies aren't perfect. They aren't currently the best to work for. They're a lot better than others, and we want to be the best to work for, and we're working towards that. But the staff survey is such an important tool to be understanding boots on the ground, what's going on in your business, what people think, and how you can solve it. And a lot of people just want to be heard and known that they're being heard, and we can talk around it and we can help improve. And it's really part of the fail forward feeling that we were trying to fail forward as a business and constantly trying to learn, adapt, improve. And hopefully, and we do look back at all of over the years, that as we solve some issues, others come up. And look, you're not going to be able to solve everything someone says, but you can certainly give it a good go and then really create that really strong business, because I believe a workforce that works as a team and works together is so much more powerful than a team of highly skilled individual people. Having a team of people who work together and work as a team is going to take you so much further. And I don't do it for this reason, clearly, because of what I've talked about, but I can guarantee you, as soon as you start looking after your team, your staff retention will go up, your revenue will go up, which means your profit will go up, and it will benefit your business. So if you're listening to this thinking, well, I don't really care about people that much, I care about money, there are also monetary gains to have by looking after your team. So whichever way you look at it, looking after your team is one of the most important things in your business. And by doing your staff survey, you're going to get some great results. Trust me, first time around, sit down, but after that, you'll just take it on the chin and see it all as part and learning. If you want to know more about this, or you want to know more how I implement this in the tree surgery business, and you want to join my mastermind, just drop us a note and I can send you the questions and the staff surveys that we do on our team. Thanks all for listening. Please like, share and subscribe to the podcast. Cheers all.